have a lapel. I'm just using the phone. Normally I don't do Sundays. I just wanted to jump on here. I wanted to say hello. I want to talk about a few things. Some of the industry, some of these things. I think there's some people out there that are definitely hurting. And what I mean by that is kind of like, I got some, I don't want to really show anybody's emails or anything, but I got these emails from you lovely people out there. Let me start out with Jeffrey. Jeffrey was very nice, very nice, very nice, and it definitely encourages me. So Jeffrey says, I'm 34. Sounds like he used to be a foreman carpenter. Most skilled contractor trades. I was 14. I'm in the carpentry union. So he was in the union. I'm not going to read all of it because there might be kind of some sensitive stuff. I still have to email Jeffrey back, let him know he did want me to. What's up? I love it. Yes. So he reached out and he just wrote me a very lovely email explaining how it sounds like he was off part of the union for almost about 4 months. It says, so 4 months gone through, which I already read this, Jeffrey. I'm just kind of highlighting some of this stuff, but I've been thinking about this and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, in this video, I wanted to talk about the kind of what, I don't want to say and get demonetized or all that, even though this shouldn't be a paid one. I don't normally do that on lives. But talk about when we had the cough syndrome, when we had to do the diapers over the face and some of the heartaches that it was. Because I really hope we don't ever go through that again. I really hope not, because if anybody comes across any videos that talks about maybe like, what always throws me is why we don't have more, why I don't see any videos out there talking about who's the best landlord. The best landlord is the government, right? I mean, think about it. You could have your house completely paid off and you don't pay the taxes. And what happens? They come and take your house, right? So I don't see enough talk about some of this stuff. And I'm very interested from you guys. So you can always hit me up the email, the daveadupson@gmail.com. I typically put it in most of my videos in the descriptions below. I don't think I started this one off with one, but it's the Dave A one. It's this one, if I can show it without revealing somebody else's information. This one. Yeah, that right there. But I would love to see, because you know what got me about this, and I feel like we need to kind of talk about this a little bit, especially in the business, and if you run any kind of business, was that when the cough syndrome was going around, I feel like what really got me, a lot of the restaurants had to close, right? And I feel like what always kind of got me when I was driving down the road, I'm sure you felt this way too, probably in your town, your community, was that when you're driving down the road, right, I'd look at these buildings and I go, okay, so they got to be closed. And yes, maybe they get some kind of something. That's if they have enough employees, if they meet the criteria, right? But I go, they still got to pay the property taxes. I go, the roof is still, the sun's still beating down on that roof. So that roof is still wearing out. The windows, the caulk, the siding, everything is wearing out. But yet, they didn't drop the taxes, did they? Now, if they would have said, you know what, we're not, hey, we understand you're not in business and you're going to, this is going to be a problem. So we're gonna basically shut, we're gonna relieve you for 3 months or whatever it is. We're not gonna charge any kind of, let's say, property taxes or something. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of got me, because when you run a small business, it could be garage doors, it could be anything. I was thinking about like when we experienced it, it was horrible because we didn't there was no help. You know what I mean? There was no help right at the initial when you needed it. And so I think that's just a good reminder for all of us that you need to be somewhat prepared, right? You need to have a little bit of a piggy bank. You need to, you can't rely on the system. We had so many troubles trying to get people on unemployment, and you couldn't go down to the normal, the office where it was at to get people signed up fast enough. You know what I mean? And it was weird because some people make it, some people wouldn't. Hey, Tony, good evening. And so it was really difficult in the business. I remember, like I said, we had about a 2 week streak that I remember. I started pulling scrap metal out of our container because the phone wasn't ringing. We had jobs that we couldn't go to for builders, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. It was basically, I remember having to go down with a ship, and that is a very, very scary scenario. And so when Jeffrey messaged me or emailed me, and so now he's basically, he's going to, it sounds like Monday, tomorrow actually, that's what it sounds like, if I got the dates right. Sounds like he's going to be working for a garage door installer down in, I believe it was GA there, Austin, GA. So that's pretty cool. And he said he really likes watching the videos. He learns a lot. And so that's great. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you guys business. If you guys got any questions, throw them in there. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. But he sounds like he's got a really good heart. He said he was 34, so he's still a young lad. So he's still got many adventures. And he was asking some, a little bit of questions about going into it, and that's why he was watching the videos, because he's trying to figure out too about when he gets into this. And he's had a little bit. He used to do some pole barns and stuff. But I cannot, like I said, this email is just loaded with kindness. It's amazing what he wrote in here. And I'm so thankful that we've connected, honestly. So I hope we stay in contact. I hope things work out good for him. I think for a lot of guys that are getting into the door business, the big thing is don't feel overwhelmed, and just don't have, try not to have a bad attitude. The attitude is what will kind of make or break you. The guy that runs this, right? It's amazing. It's amazing because he literally, I thought I was gonna can him. I really did. I thought I was like, he ain't gonna get it. But you know what? What really counted the most is he showed up every day, and he tried, and he tried, and he tried, and they eventually started catching on. And honestly, I think he might be better than me right now. might have to take him up for a challenge. He's a super good dude though, super honest. I think for a lot of people, some of you guys that are seasons that watch the channel, you guys know how it is. You know what I mean? You got to be a man of your word. You got to be honest. You got to be faithful. You got to be, just all the basic cores. Just have a good attitude. Don't go in. The one guy that worked here for a little bit, he kept saying every day, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get this. Of course you're not going to get that, because it's right up here. Remember, control the mind. The mind is the most powerful thing. I tell my kids, I tell everybody this. You have to remember, most of us, take this with a grain of salt. Typically, everybody has fingers, hands, toes, eyes, nose, mouth, lips, butthole, you name it, right? It's this that makes us different. It's this. It's what we think of. It's what our concept is. It's what we believe in, what we manifest. So, what What's Rodney saying? Happy birthday! Why you got happy birthday for me? It was my kid's birthday. It's not quite mine yet. I'm getting there, darn it. March, March is my birthday. So, but anywho, let's see here. I'm going to show minimum without explanation because it's first day of work. I want to make sure anything I missed over here, opportunity. And like I said, Jeffrey, I will email you back and let you know I did get your. Sometimes I'm slow because I read these things. I'll read them actually. Today it was at the bounce. We were at the bounce place. I had the one kiddo, so this whole week was kind of pretty booked. Pretty booked with a lot of stuff. It was a lot of good stuff. So wish your family nothing but the best. Awesome. So let me know too if you guys are seeing this or not. I mean, I don't get a lot of people that come back to me on this. And I really would like, this is that whole, I tell you guys all the time how I feel crazy. Let me know too if audio's okay. Not too loud, not too weird, not too echo. Like I said, I'll put the lapel on if I need to. But so I won't say the name for this one because he's a long time subscriber, and he asked me certain things not to reveal. But how do I explain it? He decided to do a showroom. He decided not to do a showroom. He decided to scale back, right? And like I said, this is a totally different email. So we're on another subject here. Just needs the brand new special order door. So it sounds like he had a worker that ended up doing some damage to a garage door. And I don't think we're in the same era. I really don't. I don't think we're in the same era as our moms and our dads. I know it's one of those things that people always want to say, you know, oh, it's always been like that. There's always the people and stuff. But when I was a kid, right, I seen so many more people that you know, like kind of like I always think about like the airplanes, right? When you used to ride an airplane, you used to get dressed up, right? That was a big thing to ride an airplane. And now you go on an airplane and it's almost like instead of it turning into a privilege, it turns into almost like a right. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I have the right to be on here, you know, and people just seem like some people, not all. Oh, thank you. Thanks for letting me know the audio is good. But don't you ever feel like people just have they believe they have the right? It's not a privilege, it's the right. And they sometimes obviously get kicked off, they get in trouble, things happen. But I feel like the workers, right? And I'm just watching a little short video. I think I sent it to my dad earlier today. And it was talking about like a mechanic. And he was having problems with some CV, and it wasn't machined right. And and it's one of those things like I feel like I'm running into this too myself, right? Either in the garage door business, anything, right? It feels like the quality, right? Like people just don't really care. That's what it feels like. A lot of sweatpants, a lot of flip-flops. It just feels like that. I could be wrong. Like I said, I just feel like the stuff has really deteriorated quite a bit. And I think, my opinion, I think a lot of this has developed by the government. I think they've created a lot of this. If you think about it sometimes and think about how much if we took away that was freebies out there, the handouts. Not to say that, like I said, there's certain people that need this stuff. There's no doubt. But I think it's a little bit like, do you know anybody? I know somebody. I might know a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 people that maybe they get a food card, right? And they'll actually give somebody that food card and then they'll exchange it for money so they can just have the cash so they can go do other things with it, good or bad. I just think if there was not so many handouts, possibly we might see a little bit more in the workforce, right? I was thinking about it the other day and, thinking about how stuff used to be very based on the church. And if you think about it, right, let's say if somebody really was hurting and they came to the church, right, they're going to get so magnified, right? They're in there and it's Johnny. Let's say Johnny needs, Johnny's out of a job. Johnny's this, Johnny that, right? People in the church are going to, I would be one, right? To, hey, I got stuff I need done. You know what I mean? Why don't you come over? At least I can give you, I could even barter with you. I give you some food. I give you some tools or something. If it came, because then now we would micromanage this person, right? Because now there's a group of us, right? And we're going, hey, I heard Johnny's not trying, right? Johnny came over to my house and Johnny was really not, I mean, he really did a bad job and he stole from me. He did this or maybe Johnny's really good. You know what I mean? And I would reckon Johnny did a great job painting the fence. You ever think about how much this stuff would expand and it would like eliminate where if they came back to like basically like the church, that it would help so much. You know what I mean? Instead of the system, because my dad told me once, that my grandpa, um, rest in peace, grandpa, he he ended up hurting his back. I don't think he broke it, but I think he hurt his back pretty bad. And he used to do like window cleaning and stuff. And anyways, they were hurting, so they needed money or not money, but they needed, it's almost like welfare. They needed food or whatever. So they go down there and they give them a box. Here's a box, and it has like a head of lettuce, maybe a few apples. It has powdered milk of some, very like primitive, like you're not gonna enjoy this, but you're gonna live, right? Like, and so, but now I go into places, right? I'm in the gas station. Have you guys seen this and experienced this? Where you're like, somebody's in there and they're buying the pop and they're buying the popcorn and they're buying, and you're sitting there and you're like, and then the card isn't working, right? And maybe you see it or you hear the person say something of, hey, we don't, they won't do this, they will do this. So, I mean, I think it's almost basically like maybe tobacco and alcohol is the only thing they cannot get with it. And it kind of like makes you like, why are they getting all these treats when this is supposed to be a survival, right? Like they should only be able to buy maybe from certain stores, maybe only certain things, lettuce, celery, like healthy stuff that they're like, I don't want to keep living on this crap, like I want to get myself a bag of Doritos. So, I think we're a little bit broken. So anyways, my gentleman here, he ended up getting it sounds like a van got wrecked um, by a worker. And that's another thing, even for like Jeffrey, I worked with a guy once and we worked at the DPW. We plow snow, road maintenance, whatever. And this guy, he was trying so hard, right? And he goes, I don't know why they don't hire me. And he goes, I cut the grass. I get, everybody else only gets one section done. I get two done. I get two, maybe two and a half. And it's like, you got to remember that the guy would beat up the equipment so bad that the mechanics absolutely hated him. And it's like, and I knew this, right? And it's like, I tell him, I said, maybe you just need to slow down a little bit. It's not so much about doing a fast, quick job. It's about doing a thorough job. So just something to think about when you guys, if you're young bucks or anything, it's, us older guys, right? The gray hairs. Yeah, the gray hairs. We've been through this, right? There isn't too much that you're going to sneak under the rug that we're not going to know about. We know how things work. We know what certain operations would take for how long something should take. So just show up. Show up. And if you show up right on time, you're late. Show up 5 minutes early. Show up 10 minutes early. Come in and have a seat. Come to the office, whatever. Drink some coffee. Have a pop. Bring a donut. You know what I mean? Show up. Because business owners do not like when people show up a minute to 3 minutes before they're supposed to. Because it puts us on edge. Because we made a lot of commitments. And we don't know if you're going to be here. And so we don't know if we got to step in, if we got to call somebody else in, maybe it's a family member, right? Those are some weird times, man. I tell you, those are hard. What's those? Is it Selman? What's old Selman say? So true. It's been a tough labor market for so long. People can hold you hostage. I tell you what, I was just talking to another business owner, and his buddy deals with he's like a plumber or something, you know, and he's just like, I'm not hiring, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm not saying that's always the right thing to do, but boy, I can tell you what, I can see. I mean, I can't even go into the stores now. Hardly any stores. Some of the box stores, the labor, or not labor, but the lumber ones, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I'm normally a pretty outgoing guy. I like to, you know, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you have a good day. Good morning. You know, good evening, good afternoon. And now it's like I just walk through the store and it's like, because it's like there's just almost so much negativity, it can just bring you right down. You know what I mean? And that's not the right thing to do. But it's like it gets where you just you look at it and you're just like, you ever feel like you can look at, I think, humans sometimes, maybe us men can relate with this a little bit, but you can look at another person and they kind of remind you, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, just take this with a grain of salt, but they look like a dog to you. Could be a German Shepherd, could be a Pit Bull, could be a Chihuahua. But you can almost tell by looking into the eyes, looking into the soul, right? You're going, I'm not going to deal with that one, because that one is just, I can already hear how they're talking. I can already see the body language. I can see how they're dressed. I can see whatever. And I'm just better. I'm going on my phone. I'll go on my phone and find out what aisle this thing is down, because it's just, it's like you don't want to go down that avenue, but you're almost like happy it's there. You know, you're like, you'd like to have service, but it's so hard to find, you know, and it's like nobody takes pride in their work anymore. It's getting sad, you know. And then you think about how many people are coming in. What was I just seeing today? Something? I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Let me see what the comments say here. I always like to make sure I stay up to them if I can. That happened to me 1 month ago. Insurance claims just came in. Insurance claims? Oh man. Insurance is really tough. I don't know about you guys, but all I'm hearing is insurance. I'm hearing it everywhere. I'm hearing it on houses. I'm hearing it on trucks. I'm hearing it on rigs. I'm hearing it on, I mean, it's getting scary. It's getting scary. And the thing is a lot of times, like, even if it's customers and stuff, I always tell them, like, don't make it a claim if you don't have to. You know, obviously it gets big enough and everything's murky, you got to do it. You know what I mean? But, or it's a vehicle that's X amount of dollars. But you know how this is. As soon as you do it, right, it's recorded on the system. It's like you're in the police database right now for God knows how long. And every insurance company can come on there and check your profile. It's like a Facebook, you know what I mean? They can come check you out. And then it's now your premium, right? Especially with that insurance company, I'm not losing money. So we're going to charge you an extra $50 or $100 or $200 a month now. And you're like, what the heck, man? I never had a claim in 20 years. It's ridiculous. It really is. I don't think honestly, if I ever get to the point where I'm probably, it's a lot of people don't know this. It's a very hard balance. If I got stuff paid off, I basically self-insure. Don't insure it. That's just my opinion. It's not legal financial advice. This is just some Yahoo on YouTube University. Or you got to be so far in debt, nobody ever touches you. So if you ever get sued, you ever get this, people, you can just go ahead. Try to take my house. Try to take my building. Try to take this. You're going to fight the bank. It's loaded with debt. Good luck. Isn't it weird? It's a weird system. Whoa, we've become a low effort society, Mr. Kevin says. Too many think that they should be entitled to be successful. And I hate to tell you, but it's just like with running a business. It's tough. It's tough. I've seen so many people come through that door, and they just, oh my gosh, you must be doing so good. They see everything, right? They see everything, and then it's like you're sitting there going, yeah, we're doing all right. How can I help you? Oh, wow. Well, I got to get in this business. And you're like, yeah, are you ready to work? Like, 12, 14, 16, 24-hour days? Well, I don't know. I mean, I got sports. I got my hobby. I got my, whatever, you ready to work Saturdays and Sundays? Oh, well, I don't, Saturday, Sunday. I don't do that. That's ridiculous. Oh, okay. Well, that's what it takes, because you go out there and yabba dabba do at the customers, right? You go out there, you make everything look pretty, you shove all that wad of garbage in the back of your van, and you go home and you lick your wounds. And now you got to clean up the van when it's dark with a headlamp on. That's why when we lose daylight, I'm always walking around with a headlamp pretty much, because there's just not enough daylight. I need more daylight. I need more time in the day. And oh, by the way, the brakes started grinding. So you got to fix those either tomorrow or on the weekend. That's what happens. What's this? Yes, Jeff says, take your time. You're getting paid by the hour. I think that's a very important thing to bring up. It's just how I've always operated, right? Within the business. I always have looked at it that way, where I don't want somebody to come back and they go, well, you told me it's going to be blah, 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 blah. And that's why I had to, no, I told you this one job. I want you to do a really good job, because you only had one job. Even though there's 20 more lined up behind you, you did a good job. Because that's why I never wanted to do so much. Now, if you could find a good sub, those aren't too bad. But the problem with subs sometimes is it's hard to get them back, especially if they're not local. And then they can be kind of hit and miss, but it is nice to not have to worry that they're normally problem solvers, which is good, because they just want to get this job done, because they know if they get this job done, they do a good job, hopefully they get paid. And then they better do a good job, because they don't want to come back either, right? Just kind of the same attitude that we have, as business owners and people of that nature. What is something says, LOL. I think you just always have to be interviewing. I think there's some merit to that, because I remember when I worked at a shop, my stepmom worked in the HR department. And I remember, I knew, because I worked there, obviously, that we weren't hiring. And I remember reading the paper one day, and a little block up there still says, X corporation, whatever, always looking for good, hiring. And I thought, what the heck, man? I said, I know we're on a freeze. We're not hiring, So I kind of mentioned to her, I said, hey, what's going on here? I said, what's, and she said, well, here's the thing, we're always looking for good candidates. And I think that's a very good point, that door is kind of always open, that you can always sit down and do a lunch or talk to somebody, because I don't want to say like, oh, they're good enough, the other person's getting the boot, but they also you might try to integrate them in, or if they have a skill, use that skill. You know what I mean? Like, make a partnership, make a friendship out of it, and say, hey, can I use you on the side? Could I use you here, or maybe on the weekends? A lot of people forget about the weekends. I know it's tough, but they seem to forget that some of these people, want the little, a little bit of extra money. And some of those guys that work, the shops or whatever, or certain hours late, they like working those weekends. But there's always a caveat to it. You got to remember that it also could interrupt your weekend because you forgot something, they ran into a problem, there's an issue. Hey, the customer's not home, so you got to be willing to, basically answer that phone call. Oh, new job in morning. Hey, Jeff, that's who I was talking about for a big national commercial firm at 56. Maybe Jeff. Maybe that's not Jeff. Somebody else. Jeff. Somebody else. Sorry, Jeff. I was getting it wrong. Starting my new job in the morning is a technical for a big national commercial firm at 56. I still get a little nervous. I bet. So I'm trying to figure that starting my new job in the morning, technical for a big commercial. Is this garage door? Or is this just kind of like abroad, whatever? I was just curious on that. 56? You got it. It's everything. Heck, everybody still gets nervous about certain things. It's just nowadays in a nutshell, people kind of got it made if you're an employee, because I've been on both sides. And I tell you what, like I said, it's just show up a few minutes early, 5-10 minutes early. I know, but they're not paying me. I get that. But that just, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're considered late. That's how I've always been taught. And I'm the type of person that I have literally every job I've ever done, and I still do it to this day. My wife can contest to it. We'll go somewhere, we got an appointment, right? Because I look at it, right? People's time is very valuable. I'm the type, I can always make more money, but I can't make more time. So respect the time. And so I always look at it like, even when I got appointments, dentist appointments, whatever it is, right? I'll drive there. And I'll be really honest, I'm normally 10 to 15 minutes early. And I sit in the parking lot, or I'll sit into a carpool area or something, or I'll find just a little gas station or whatever, right? Just to kill some time, because now at least I'm close, very close, that if my car don't start, I don't have to worry about an accident. I don't have to be in a rush, right? I'm already there. The car don't start. Well, they're right across the street. I'm going to walk over there and I'll figure out the car later. You know what I mean? Because I think as a society, we all need to slow down. You know what I mean? I know you guys I'm hearing it across the board. We're all seeing it, right? There's road rage. People are just driving erratically. It's horrible. So you have to be a really defensive driver. You know what I mean? It's getting really bad. I'm thinking about even personally getting a dash cam, because it's just going to be easier to justify when somebody's doing stupid stuff, which I've had 2 happen in the last week. I think 2 incidents. One was a car being crashed in front of me. If I would have been one car, this car just came onto medium and just went right across. Instead of merging, went woo right across. Pow! Hit the car in front of me. I forget what the second one was, but it was very like, I'm getting a dash cam. So if anybody's got a good recommendation on dash cam that they like or believe is, worthy or whatever, hit me up. Shoot me an email. What's this one? From Solomon here. One of my window installers crashed a truck. Oh man. It is so horrible when people, and I get it. I mean, it happens. I mean, we had one here at the shop. I remember, it's an embarrassing one. That one of our guys was pulling out. He didn't have something in the back that was tied down. The door opened, right? A box fell out. So the guy that was the neck technician that works here at the shop, he slams on the brakes, and then a car behind him smashes into him. And it's like, oh my gosh. And, these are things you got to think about, right? Because most people are programmed. First thing to do is, oh my gosh, like call the police, right? And there's no emergency, right? Nobody's hurt. Yes, some vehicles maybe have a little damage or something. But, I think if I remember right, one of the guys calls me, right? And I can hear, he's explaining that there's an accident. And I'm like, okay. And I can hear the cars, boom, 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 passing him. And I'm like, are you still on the road? Like, are you standing in the middle of the road? Like, get off the road. Like, I'm like, I don't care about the vehicle. That can be like, we'll worry about that. Like, that's not cool and great, but you are the human that I care about. The vehicle can be replaced. Money can replace that. Insurance will replace it. Get that. What, are you on the road? I don't know if he was. I don't think he was, but it sounded like it. And then all of a sudden it went blank for a second, and I'm like, hello? I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's telling me he's been in an accident. Now it just goes blank, and I'm thinking, he just got hit. He just got hit by a car. He just got hit by a car. And then he's back, and he's like, oh, a phone or something, Bluetooth that connected, whatever. And, so anyways, they call the police, right? The other guy doesn't even care. He leaves. The cops took so long. He just leaves. He's like, here's all my information, card, insurance, take a picture. If he has an issue, my car is not really damaged, not enough to be, and he leaves. But now the police comes, right? And the police is kind of like, I don't know if he wrote up a full report. I'm sure it was documented of some sort, but you got to remember now, that could be on some kind of record. And then now, your insurance, your business, right, gets looked at, and now your premium goes up. So it's just, sometimes you got to slow down. You got to talk to the other person, see what they want to do, right? Hey, it looks like you don't really have no damage. I'm okay with the damage. This is $100, $200 fix. Do you. But as a society, where sometimes we're programmed, it's kind of like what they teach you in Pow Pow class. It's take care of the threat first, and then you call, right? So it's like with the police officers, right? Take care of the threat, then get on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, the radio is not going to stop the threat. You know what I mean? Take care of business, assess the situation. Everybody's, person's down, not going to get hurt. On the radio, hey, we got problem, things have happened. So sometimes we have to, I think we have to self-train ourselves a little more and understand that, don't panic, right? That's the worst thing they tell you. Everything in life is don't panic. Don't panic. Somebody's choking, don't panic. Don't start screaming. Don't start, oh my God. I ain't gonna do nothing. Assess the situation, see what you can do to attack it, and handle it. What's up, Mr. Jim? Hello. Did I miss? But that stinks about the truck being smashed. Probably broke the glass in the window too, darn it. Is it smart to install doors at no cost in brand new residential business? What are we asking here? Is it smart to install doors at no cost in a brand new residential business? No cost. I don't think so. There's got to be some kind of money. I'm probably not really understanding that question. Maybe you could ask it a little differently. Install doors at no cost in brand new residential business. Got to make something. I don't care if you make it 20, 40 bucks. You're just starting out. I was watching a guy today, and he was talking about, there is a problem, right? If you're too cheap, some people just it's really weird in the business. So like one guy, right, that runs a huge business, $1 million business, right? He's a good friend of mine. He runs around like in a minivan, right? Like a mom's minivan, right? And I'm always like, I can't believe this guy. I mean, he shows up, but it's the aura that comes out of him. Hey, okay. And he's talking to the customers, this and that. What do you want? You want? Okay, not a problem. Well, let me make a phone call. It's the aura, right? If you're confident in yourself, that's very important. And that's like with me, it's like, I've been in the business so long that you walk up to situations now and it's like you don't even care. You're like, do you want my help or don't you? Because I'm the man. And I mean, I'm not, you don't say this stuff, but it's like your mind's like, I got other things to do. And it's weird how you'll build this like environment around you, this universe. And then it's like I always talk about, like the vortex. All of a sudden you start, you're struggling, you're striving, you're I need work. And then all of a sudden you start getting it. You're like, oh, we're doing good. And then now it's being shoved down your throat and you're like, I can't breathe. I'm drowning. That vortex, kind of like that funnel. What's Jeff say here? Doors and door. What's checks? What's that mean? Doors and door. Doors and dock levelers. Oh, doors and dock levelers. So sometimes some of these businesses, if you guys are kind of starting out with the garage door stuff, just my little bit of advice, sometimes you might want to think about. We have I think we have one or two maybe that is our competition. They can cater to these. So what they'll butter to is they actually do high-lows. That's their real money maker. The garage door stuff and their docks are, the garage doors are almost like a write-off for them. They lose money in that to some degree because most time they don't got guys that do good work. And then the docks they can make because there's a lot of parts and bigger stuff in there. So docks are pretty good, but their forklifts. Their forklifts are really good. They make a lot of money with their forklifts. They even got a magazine. Their company is kind of a little bit of a franchise. So anyways, my point is that you might want to think about, if you're looking to get business, you might want to look at like places that don't have docks, because like for us, we don't want to deal with the dock plates. For us, we don't want to deal with the seals on the outside. And some of these maintenance guys and certain people, they want it all inclusive, right? I just want one guy to call, hey, door 11, dock seal is shot, and door 10, the dock plate's not working. When can you get here? Now? Great. Thank you. I got to go. And so those sometimes cannot be your best. You might want to find somebody that just has ground level DPWs, maybe very little docks, if any, certain things. They just never worked really good for us. They just never fit because it's such a different, like you got to be a real man, when you do docks, and they're different. You got to have like good welder. You got to have like a crane on your truck. You got to be able to use, if the customer even let you, their forklift or something, it's a different animal. Sizzle doors docks. I know this is off topic. That's perfect. I like off topic. But how much stock should I buy when starting out with my truck? I want to buy extra, but should I? So if we're talking about garage doors, it all depends on what you want to do. I look at it a lot of times, like sometimes less is more. So I think I was talking to Mike. Mike's a cool dude. He's out of the state. And Mike was telling me he's starting to kind of get into commercial. And Mike was telling me that he still buys from the box stores. He buys openers. I'm talking about residential openers. So I guess it depends. So Chad, you got to let me know, is this residential or is this commercial? Because they're totally different animals. But if you're doing residential, man, the sky is unlimited. You have so many things at your disposal when you do residential. In just my opinion, you could buy openers. I can't tell you guys how much. It still blows my mind. Still blows my mind. How many people I've come across that don't give a rat's ass about nothing about fixing. It's all about fixing their problem. And so, for instance, right, when I did Lowe's, I had a little enclosed trailer. It was really, I don't know what you call it. It was nice, but it was rickety. Just had a little shelter. I knew what they were getting for an opener. So I would go to Lowe's and I would buy their opener, right? Because I had to do like a U shape. That's why the map has zones on it there. You can kind of see the red one, the big one. So I had to do like a U shape, right? I had to do like 3 jobs to make it worth the while. So I'd get these openers built, right? Because I don't know, openers, everything's 2 hours to me. Openers takes 2 hours. You got to tear out, you got to install, you got wires, you got crap in the way. It's 2 hours at the job. That's just my brain for everything that's garage door related. Everything is 2 hours. You want to tear out a door? It's 2 hours, because you have cleanup, you have to cut it up, it's just 2 hours. 2 hours to take out, 2 hours to install. And that's just my general formula. 2 hours install the opener. Anyways, I'd build these openers. And I'd put them in this little closed trailer, right? And I'd go to their job, right? And I'd go into their garage. I had people watch me. I was waiting. I was waiting for somebody to call me out. I'd literally pick up their box, right? That you buy at Lowe's, right? The two handles, openers, and there. I would take that. I would throw it in my truck, right? And I'd open up that little trailer I had that had the opener that's their same opener, but it's built. I'd pick that thing up. I'd throw it on my shoulder. I come walking up in their garage, boom, I throw it on the ground nicely. I just put a little, whatever, cardboard or something down right when I'm doing my business. And I just install it. And they just sit there and be like, it comes with two remotes, right? That's what I got. Yes, it does. It sure does. And what would you like your keypad programmed at? Or code for the. So, and even when we worked for Lowe's and people just didn't care. I couldn't believe they weren't like, hey, is this a scam? It doesn't say Lowe's anywhere. We were supposed to wear apparel. Sometimes we didn't, But I thought even on the truck, I thought they'd be like, wait a minute, why does your truck say affordable door and gate? I bought this from Lowe's. Is this a scam? They don't care. They just don't care. I'm not saying now. I think commercial, a little different. You're dealing with an elevated market there, right? This guy he's got seniority. It took him a while to get in this commercial position, right? He ain't no stupid person. You know what I mean? And they, but he's got a boss. He's got employees around him in a sense, peers. So they gotta, hey, do you see who's this new company you hired? They no high vis. The guy's working out of a Buick LeSabre. What the? I mean, did you see he's got a giant ladder? I mean, the guy don't got a truck. You know what I'm saying? So residential is so much easier when you're starting out. And I would use these box stores to my advantage. I wouldn't carry a ton. I wouldn't worry about oh my gosh, because the big thing is once you just do it, you realize you're going to run into a problem and you can make up any excuse you want, right? Say, oh, geez, I don't have that part on my truck. Let me call around. I'll get back to you. I'll have to come back, or whatever you're trying to accomplish. You can buy time, and you will start. What I always used to do is buy one, now buy two. Boy, I use this quite a bit, like a gear kit. On the Chamberlains, they chair them up. So I used to carry the gear kits around. I always carry the kit. I didn't do just the gear. It was too much labor intensive. Plus, the top normally gets bad anyways. Oh, so Chad says it's for residential, but yeah, like I said, you can residential is really easy. The big thing is just you'll learn everything you touch. You're going to learn. Everything you see and feel, you'll go, and for you probably got a really fast response time if you don't have a lot of business. So you could also, without disappointing maybe, there's so many ways you could spin it, right? Go out there and say, I don't really have what you need, and find somebody that you can kind of recommend. And even if they don't know you, just say, I think you should call this place. They seem to have I've heard pretty good things. Do a little bit of homework, or listen to people, right? And maybe follow up and just recommend. Say, hey, I don't have what you need. I'm sorry. And then go back, you buy what you need or get a roll of wire if you need certain size wires, cable wire. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, you just start out with whatever. I mean, we had just those little ladder racks that used to go on the side bed. It had one ladder on it. And then we modified it so it would carry two ladders, extension. But we were also always jumping into residential or commercial. I mean, we jumped in commercial right away. And that's tough. That's tough trying to balance because they're two different animals. But residential, go to the box stores. Most of the stuff you can get hinges there, you can get rollers there. You probably can't get bearings, but you can go online, either buy them through eBay or through another, find another local garage door company that you can purchase some stuff through. I think a lot of people are scared. If somebody came here and kind of explained, so I kind of knew, and they said, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Why does it hurt me? I'm going to make a few dollars off you for buying some parts. And hopefully, if I see that you're doing good work in that, maybe I can start throwing some work your way, because that's a great relationship. You know what I mean? Most of us all just want to be friends, and yeah, we're competition, but we understand we're all just trying to put food on the table. So it's not even, it's not even that. It's just, but like if somebody eventually lets you start coming in and maybe they got a camera hidden, maybe they got cameras that are just visible, right? Don't start getting sticky fingers. If they let you in, say, hey, go in there and get what you need. You need a roller. I'll just get you next time on it. Whatever. Go ahead. Just help yourself, because that's the biggest thing. Like I said, it takes a long time to build trust, but it's so easy to break it. So easy. And then all you think about is they're a thief. They're a thief. They're a thief. They steal. They do this. I'm hearing this. They're screwing customers. And that's all it takes, because everybody, that's why I always say everybody talks. Everybody. So I always tell everybody, I'm like, I might not find out today. I might not find out tomorrow or next week or 2 weeks, but I'm going to find out. I'll find out in a year. I'll find out in 2, but I will find out. You know what I mean? Because everybody talks. And everybody, some people it's marriages, some people it's family, it's kids, whatever. Everybody talks. So that's why you just want to be a good character from the get-go and always just try to do your best. Everybody understands that we all make mistakes, and just try to do your best. And there's going to be a few that you'll never make happy, but you just got to go back and explain, say, hey, I tried my best for you, and what can I do? Let me refund your money. What I mean? Is that even better? That's still not good enough. I know it's not. Nervous as heck. Yeah, first day. They're letting me drive. Ooh, dang, man. Drive a 2024 F350 home. Sweet. Yep. The biggest thing is just, always remember that the trucks, if you're driving company trucks and all that, they can be, especially nowadays. I mean, everything's got satellites on them basically. So, the biggest thing is don't abuse it, because you might be micromanaged. You know what I mean? Because you're new. Just don't abuse it. You know what I mean? Just don't abuse it. And it's a privilege, but I know some door companies, and it's really weird, right? It's awkward, right? But they like let the guys have the trucks and stuff. And these guys, like this one guy, he's worked for me, and he's like used his company truck, and it's kind of like, this is awkward. And so you definitely don't want to do any of that kind of stuff when you're first starting out. Like I said, this is something that could take a year, 2 years, 3 years before they even, that situation ever comes down where you say, hey, can I go do this? Some places don't care, because vehicles are basically an easy write-off, because sometimes it'll, how do I say it? Sometimes it'll make employees really like happy. And they think, oh my gosh, I'm getting, and it's not as bad. It's just, if that makes you happy, and they don't have to, like give you a $5 price increase, or wages per hour. The vehicle's actually cheaper for the business. That makes sense. Like the fuel, the wear and tear on the vehicle, because when it comes to wages, you always have to remember that basically every dollar they give you is $2 on our end. So if you come in and say, I want a dollar raise, it's basically cost us $2. So you're getting a dollar, but it's costing us $2. It's almost always double, because this is the weirdest thing, but a lot of people probably don't know this. It's kind of like, I remember with the secretary, right? I was sitting down, I was talking to the insurance place. We have to do workman's comp. And I said, so if I give my secretary, I said, a $10 raise an hour, I said, you're telling me my workman's comp goes up, X amount of dollars? Mm-hmm. I said, and she's doing the same job. I mean, nothing's changed. I said, she's, typing on a, keyboard. I said, we're not making her climb a ladder. Yep, it goes up. And I'm like, but she's doing the same job. There's no more risk. So basically if I give her a raise, I get punished. Does that make sense? It's kind of a weird system. It's a horrible system. It really is. Because it's like most, most business owners, like even, in this business, I want everybody to do great. I want them to make lots of money. But it's like, there's so many things that you have to do, corporation, workman's comp, taxes. It's just like, holy cow, man. Like it's just sad. You'd rather be in their pocket than anybody else's, but there's just that liability, right? Oh, liability, Says, "What's up, Mister Hunting Adventures? I'm stuck in a retirement vortex. Oh snap! Retirement vortex. Oh man, you know what's always the bad part is that you're busier when you retire. And I've seen it from my dad. I've seen it from my stepdad a little bit. I've seen it from myself to some degree. But I can see where people, it's almost like it's almost easier that when you're doing a job, you know what I mean, that it's almost like you accomplish something, right? That you get that feeling, at least I do. You get that feeling you accomplish something for the day, it's the end of the day, and now you get the victory of either having a cold beverage, relaxing, just come home, maybe wash the truck or something, the car or whatever, change an oil, do an oil change. And it's like when you're in that retirement, you're just, oh my gosh, what do I do? What's next? Where do I go? How do I do this? It's kind of, it's really sporadic, but there's always a million things that need to get done. There's always a million things, just so many things. Mr. Hunter said, I love doing docs. I couldn't find nobody to do the docs. I had a guy, I guess he was willing, but he didn't understand what was happening. He didn't understand that it was consuming, like we didn't have the right equipment. And the problem was where we were working, I've never been around so many disrespectful people in my life. The first time I was there working on a dock door, the spring broke and I'm up on the ladder, right? And I'm up there just bebopping, doing my own thing. And I hear these people just screaming, and it's just F this, F that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm finally, it's like to the point where I'm like, okay, like, is somebody going to start fist fighting? Like, what the heck is going on? And so I look over, right? And these guys are just, and I'm like, where is the supervisor? Where's the boss? Finally they separate or something. And I just thought, man, this place is kind of, ooh, man. They always had turnover, horrible turnover. And what got me the one time is I went up on the top. I put the cones up by the docks, right, to make sure. I mean, we're kind of amateurs, and so I'm trying to be as safe as possible. Put cones like, hey, nobody hit this. I think we got to use one of their forklifts outside, which was always kind of interesting because up here in the old Michigan, we get snow and they got those slick tires on, so not much traction. And you're opening this thing up and it's like a coffin, right? So you almost need to have one of those full suits to work in this thing because it's dirty, it's nasty. So if the guys don't have the right suits, and I still remember the guys when they're working right, I'm kind of like holding up the dock. I think we had a bar that we'd use to safety it, And I remember I could hear somebody coming on a forklift and they swung that back end around. Well, they grazed on top of the ramp of that dock plate. And I mean, it just kaboom, boom. And I mean, I just about came unglued. So I had to tromp around, the building right there to get up the stairs. And it's like, I come in there and I'm like, who is the son of a biscuit that, darn near killed one of my guys and myself, because I was pretty close too, but I probably would have been wounded and backed out of it. And, now my guy that's working is kind of like a little bit like, man, I don't know if, and I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know if I want to go in there either, because it's like a coffin. And we didn't have the welder. I mean, we were using a generator and we're using like a Lincoln 110 or something, maybe it was probably 220, but everything has to be done more methodically. And I think there's good money, but it's almost better if you got the truck. And I always believe Hunter, he always, he told me the one time, I think Hunter, you told me, or is it Dan? Dan told me that the truck he had, and he has the right setup. I mean, he's got the whole welder, and I mean, you got to have the big boy stuff, is what I call it. You got to have that nice Lincoln. Jeff says, what's this say? Love doing, says Chad. It's residential, yeah. What's up, Mr. Brigsby? Hello, hello. Jeff, commercial is my thing now because of the market. There is the work and the job security. Stay in shape and alert, and commercial work just flies by. Yeah, there is something to say about commercial. Like I said, I personally like commercial. I like commercial better. It's always been really stable, and even if there's a recession, basically, I don't know if I should say that word, but Normally there's stuff already in the pipeline. So that kind of like stretches you out, kind of like riding a sled down a hill, right? There might be bad stuff all around you, right? Economy's blowing up, everything else, but you're still on the sled and you slide out for a little ways and until you can finally go, oh, it's better over here, and then maybe the stuff is turned around. This is like spring break. Can you clamp that spring so we can stay running? But it's already been clamped. Yeah. Dan said, yeah, can we clamp that spring? I've had a lot of residential, especially kind of what we call the, as Elvis would say, in the ghetto, that we'd clamp it. And so I started having to wise up. And this is good for a lot of you new guys. Remember if you ever spring clamp, don't be stupid like I was and don't not charge for it. So I would charge, I think it was like $15 or $20 for the clamp at the time. And then our service calls, 65, whatever. So, I'd tell people like, yeah, it was like whatever, $100 or something, whatever. Because I got burned too many times. I clamped the darn thing and I go, okay, well, we'll come back. And they'd call me and they go, well, hey, the door seems to be working pretty good. Can we just leave the clamp? And I'm like, you really shouldn't. But they're like, yeah, but I don't have a lot of money. And that's like first indication. That's like, oh, I'm not even going to get paid. So I should have already took your money while I was there. And then this would just be, so what you always do is you always take the money, say, okay, it's $75 today or $100, whatever it is. We're going to deduct that off your bill when we come back out to change out the springs. And your springs are $200 or $300, $400, whatever you charge. So that's a good, and the worst one I ever had was a farmer. The farmer welded it 3 times. I was like, I got there, I'm like, what the heck's going on with this spring, man? I took it down, he shows up, and he's like, that darn spring kept breaking. He goes, and I said, well, it's supposed to get, oh, I didn't know that. He goes, I figured it was like a car spring, on the front. He goes, car springs don't ever break. And I was like, pretty much. I mean, I agree with that. He goes, so I just kept welding it. And I mean, it was a booger job, but so yeah, you gotta remember, get paid when you're there. You gotta get that service call, whatever it is, and tell them I will deduct because you don't know the future. You don't know the future, what's gonna hold. You don't want to be holding the bag. You know what I mean? What's Mr. Wee? What is this one? It says I'm a garage door tech. About 3 months in, and you absolutely saved my job, brother. Thank you for the advice and sharing your knowledge. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Thank you. That helped me and my brother are trying to build something. We were thinking about going into wholesale. Was it wholesaler? Yeah, so like I said, with the residential ones, they're really residential is so easy. They if I looked at it now, I remember my first contract was through Wayne Dalton. And I remember meeting the guy in a mall, meet halfway. Met in the mall, we signed some paperwork, and boom, we got our thing going. But what I didn't know is they have different layers to this stuff, right? There's like an A, B, and a C pricing. And I don't remember which way is which, but I was getting like, let's say the C pricing. And with the C pricing, I was getting the worst pricing. And this goes across a lot of these door companies. I'm not just picking on Wayne Dalton. Love you, Wayne Dalton. We all have our issues, but I love you. And so for a while there, I was going out to these jobs, right? I was just starting out. And I'd give these people these estimates. I'd write them up pretty much right there. I'd probably do them in the truck or something. I had them down pretty good, at least for a basic 16x7, non-insulated. I know what my price is. And I started hitting this like wall where I'd like give these people these prices and they go, oh, you're too high. I go, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're like, you're like $200 higher than the other guy. And I'm like, huh? And mind you, I'm chucking a truck right now, right? I don't even have the building, nothing. And so I'm like, huh, this happened like 3 times. And finally I'm like, I'm even asking the customer, can I see your estimate? Yeah. And they show me and I'm looking, and And so finally I called to another vendor and I was like, hey, can you guys give me a price on a garage door? And they told me the price and it was like $200 cheaper. And I'm like, what the heck, man? So I kind of got savvy. And what I was doing is I was calling WD and I was taking their price and I'd use that price as already like it's marked up. Because one trick for you guys, if you ever you're new and you're the secretary, I know how all this stuff goes. If you're the newbie, you're on the phone, right? This is what I always did. In today's market might be a little different. But I'd have their whoever it was, right? If it was WD or AMAR or whoever, right? They'd be on the phone, right? And I'd be like, well, I need a price on a door, and I'd be with the customer. And so what I started learning is I'd add $100. And some of these people even knew, oh man, Tony, you're the moderator. Get rid of that. There's no Mr. whatever his name is. I don't even want to say it for 2024. Get rid of him, Tony. And anyways, sorry, God, squirrel. Anyways, so what I would do is I would say $100 higher. So they tell me a number. They go, okay, that door is going to be $500. Now, something in a lot of these businesses I didn't know about. Which is really tricky, is that you might also be overlooking tax. You might also be overlooking shipping of some sort, right? So you got to kind of play all these things out. So you gotta remember, like take that with a grain of salt. You got to remember how to. So what I do is just tell them $100 higher. They tell me 500. I'd be in front of the customer like, okay, so that door is 600. Okay, yep. And so I'd rate right there on the estimate, right? 600, and I'd say, okay, our labor's $252 install, whatever, 16 by 7 door, and blah blah blah. And then I'd hand them the estimate. But what I want to get at here is that I found out we were on the lower scale. So with WD, Wayne Dalton, they were charging us, right? Well, it's funny how it worked. But all of a sudden we get the sales guy or whatever, the big guy, he's driving a truck one day and he's like, hey, he goes, hey, I see your sales are down. I said, yeah. I said, they are. And he goes, well, what's up? And I said, we're getting doors. I said, like $200 a pop cheaper from, and within like that day, the sales lady contacted me, whatever, boom, we got on the best price. So what my point is in a nutshell here is I wouldn't worry so much because even the box stores are going to beat your prices. So I just use the box stores. I would go in there and I'd learn their algorithms, like don't do their easy torque crap, whatever. Get regular torsion springs. Oh man, that's right. Oh, that's right. Golly, I hope some of these guys are joking, man. I hope these guys are joking about the Mr. Poopy Pants. We'll call him Mr. Poopy Pants because I don't know if any of these guys are going to save us, to be honest, because you know how this is going to work, right? Is they're going to, even if Mr. Mr. Donald, let's say, Mr. Donald gets in there, right? He's going to have so much to clean up. He's going to have it say it was theirs, and then there's going to be people that are going to put the pressure on him. So ultimately, in a nutshell, we have to understand that nobody's going to save us. Now, I'm not saying it's not bad to have a good coach, at least one you can kind of like that can stand up and not fumble and there's nothing to fear but fear itself. That stuff can really motivate some people. But I don't expect my bank account to get like super rich if Mr. DT, goes in there. But all I know is the way we're going right now. I know you people. I know about everyone out there who's got a family or yourself. You got a fence. And a fence sometimes makes good neighbors. And I'm just saying, you can't have the dog coming over pooping on your own property. You can't have the neighbor kid sometimes, going to jump in the pool and drown himself. We can't have these open open lanes. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to throw down. Too many people coming in. Let's see here. What's Mr. Chad? Chad's got some good stuff. I like this. And what's Mr. Dan? The broken spring is the bad. They like to break as you are winding. Ooh, never weld a spring. You drop, what is it? Drop the lifespan to dangerous levels. Yes, very true. Don't even arc weld on spring. They really, yep, to break. Yeah, a lot of people don't know the springs, one way maybe somebody, this is the best way I've always described it. Because customers, they always have a hard time with garage door springs. I'd always tell them, I say, every time because it's kind of obvious. You go there, right? And it's like, they're like, yeah, this door's only like 8 years old or something. I'm like, ooh, like that's not very long. And I go, well, a lot of these houses nowadays, these spec homes and everything, they're being built. No man doors. No man doors in the garage door, which is horrible, especially for us technicians and for the customer, because now when they go get the mail or their kids are out doing something, whatever, right? What are they doing? They're always opening the garage door. I guess it's good business for us, right? But I hated it. I hate going through people's houses. I really don't like it. And anyways, I always explain the coat hanger, metal coat hanger. Some of you guys might be too young to even know what a metal coat hanger is. But anyways, they used to make metal coat hangers. And I always tell them, I said, it's a coat hanger effect. I said, every time you open and close that garage door, I said, it's a metal coat hanger. You're bending it. And I said, eventually the coat hanger breaks. And they, oh, okay. So really, I shouldn't, if I don't need to, I shouldn't use it that much. Correct. But I remember I did do a clamp on one. Even clamps are dangerous, but they can get you out of a bind. So, but the biggest thing is always wear safety glasses. But I had one that I was winding and it literally snapped again in a different spot, man. And I heard that piece of metal fly and hit the wall or something. And I remember it was like, and the guy come out, I think the guy was a little, I don't know, a little flamboyant. And he was like, oh my God. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I think so. I'm like, oh, my eyes. So let's just say I was like, yeah, I was like, we can't clamp this one. I was like, this one's, you're just going to have to like park outside. Oh, okay. No, I understand. And like from there on out, I was always like, I'm putting safety glasses on. I like put safety glasses on for broken springs. I put them on for new springs. I don't care. I put them on because after you get hurt a few times, and you realize, like, I don't know how easy it is for them to replace these things, but it's not. And I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean? I just don't even want to go there. So preventative maintenance, that's always, PPE, all that. Just put some glasses on. Even if you got, I use sunglasses. I don't really recommend it. It's dark. It's hard to see. What's this school? It says I do bull market. Yeah, I think for a lot of guys out there, I think the market really is pumped up right now. And I don't know if it's going to stay that way. I can't believe what stuff is doing right now on the market. I think it's all hype. And I don't know if they're going to try to keep that hype just so the guy that's our king right now looks good, because they might do that. I don't. It's a really weird, The biggest thing for you really though is always just try to worry about yourself, try to worry about your community, try to worry about your family, try to worry about your kids, your neighbors, because these people in charge, they don't care about you. I hate to tell you that, but they don't care about it. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat. Look at all the Congress people. These people absolutely do not care about you. I even think with Mr. Donald, he might be the closest thing, but we only got 4 years with him, and there's no more. And I don't know what's going to be after him. And I would rather have a nice coach, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much they can do, right? We have to be smarter, and we have to, how is it? It's kind of like if you think about it like weight, right? Think about it like weight. The only ways you're going to lose weight and be healthy, right? You start eating healthy, you start working out, you start being in the right frame of mind. They're not going to do it for you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they can't do things to make our lives a little better and easier. Like obviously, don't don't forget to extend the fence. I think that's probably not a bad start. And that's kind of their department, right? That's what they're originally supposed to be. The rest of it, they're not even supposed to be in here. We had the what is it? Was it the Boston Tea Party or whatever? I was watching something, how we didn't have taxes back in the day. You think about it. I still tell my nephew, the highest thing you'll ever pay in life is taxes. So I didn't do it to you, you know. It says Mr. Chaz got here. Says, I was thinking with Home Depot, I had a price around 2,500. Would get my truck completely ready to do repairs and or installs. Yeah, yeah, and the one thing you have to remember, uh, if you're doing like Home Depot, what I screwed up with, I've said this in another live, I believe, is that like Menards, they have Ideal doors, right? But Ideal is actually made by Clopay. I didn't know that. So Clopay makes, because the one thing I remember with these box stores is that they typically, just like shingles on a roof, they want their own names. So they want to be able to call theirs the CRMs or whatever, and ours are called the AKAs or something. I don't know. I'm just making this up. But they're made by the same manufacturers. Kind of like the lawnmowers nowadays are all made by like MTD, pretty much. So what you got to remember though is Clopay makes, they'll call it Clopay at Home Depot, but Home Depot still can get that crappy easy torque system, easy wind, I think they call it. I don't remember. Let me know. And that stuff's kind of garbage. Now you can typically upgrade, right? Like when we used to do stuff through Lowe's would like almost automatically, it was a $30 savings. Listen to me. Can you believe this, guys? A $30 savings, and they go to Extension Springs. So I'd have to go through the paperwork. I look through the detail, whatever. I go, oh heck no, they ain't getting no extension springs on that door. That's a 16x7. Hell no. And so I would call them up or whatever and tell them, say, yeah, we ain't doing it. You're gonna get. Well, the customer, and I'd even explain to the customer. Right? Sometimes I'd call them and say, look, they go, well, it's $30. And I go, I don't care. You are not getting this. You are getting torsion spring. And so you just need to go through there. They have the stuff, far as I know. You could even upgrade the hinges. You can get the nylon rollers with bearings. And you'll learn their algorithm. So eventually you can just go in there and price it. And then what's beautiful about it is, depending on how you want to run your business, you can either purchase it through them, or you could have the customer go there and pay for it. Say, hey, look, I'm just, explain it to them. You know what I mean? Most people want to be told what to do or coach or at least explain the situation. So just explain to them. Say, look, I'm starting out. I found out that realistically, Home Depot has a little bit better quality of a garage door. There are certain things we gotta mitigate or tell them. But if you go there, I've already got everything all ready for you. I put it under your name. Go in there, and all you gotta do is pay them, and they're gonna get the door on order. And it's kind of like this. You don't have to get a secretary anymore. You don't have to, when it comes in, you can check on it, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There's some caveats to this stuff. Is it damaged? How fast are they going to turn it around, right? But you're also at Home Depot. So now, hopefully, maybe you got a little sticker on the truck or something, right? Now you get a contractor that sees you or another homeowner that sees you and says, hey, you do garage doors? Yes, I do. And you're building these relationships. But the nice thing is you're already going to pay the taxes. So that just gets that out of there. So there's a lot of bookkeeping, accounting, all that crap. So you go in there, you got to pay taxes on the door. So don't forget to add that at the end, because I've done this too many times with roofing and stuff like that. You get the price, you walk out the door, right? And you're like, oh, it's only $1,000, right? But then when you go to purchase it, when you check out, they add tax, you're like, oh, there's 200, what the, you know what I mean? So always remember there's a little more, on there, because, that $200 or $100, whatever it is, $50 could be your profit that you're like, great, now I'm making $20. Was that really worth it? So those are just things to think about. But residential is really easy, especially if you could just do like some openers. You can do some garage doors. You'll learn as you do it. That's why I always want guys to start out small and just keep, everything you touch. And every time you go into that Home Depot and you order something, you're going to learn a little nugget where you go, oh, I'm not going to tell them that next time, because now they whatever. Or, hey, I got to add perimeter seal because they don't give it to you. But what I think is beautiful about it is you're gaining a worker not at your expense. See, when I when I go with my vendor, right, I get a convenience, don't get me wrong, because now it gets delivered to me. So it eliminates, but right now, if you're just starting out, you got more time than you do money. So you want to save your money, you want to be smart with your money. But if you don't have, like, let's say, a building, like some of our vendors, they don't even want to deal with people that don't have a location, a commercial location. Some, even if you don't have a dock for a truck to back into, they don't want to deal with you. I mean, you ever notice that's why, like, if you order something, right, they'll say, we need it to go to a commercial, and you'll have to use whoever's address, to have it dropped off because it saves you $200, or because they don't want to deal with residential, right? They don't want to try to back a semi in. They don't want you complaining when they, crack your driveway, or they put their trailer in the ditch because you live on some busy highway or busy road, so all these things kind of up where Home Depot, they don't care, right? They just, hey, come here, pull around back, load it up. And like I said, now you got people kind of like assistants you're paying for, but you're not paying for. So it's a beautiful thing in a nutshell. You just got to learn how to get the materials right. You know what I mean? Like, if you just go in there and say, I need a garage door, and they'll say, okay, we'll order it. You just want cheap? Yep, I want cheap. Well, you're going to get extension springs. You're going to get crap. You got to remember you don't get weather seal. But there's just a lot of things you can learn. And maybe if it's a standard door, they'll swap it out for you if there's damage on it. But you could also, like, kind of put that on the homeowner, be like, geez, Mrs. Jones, this door's dented, and I know you're not real happy about it, but that wasn't me, and be honest about it. That wasn't me. That's how it came. So I feel really bad, but you're going to probably want to go back down there. It depends on what type of person it is, right? Maybe you take care of it. Maybe you don't. Maybe they're kind of a jerk of the customer. You say, you need to go back down there if you want it. And by the way, it's going to be another $30 for me to come back out here and swap this out for you. Just saying, because, this wasn't me. Don't be a jerk about it. Me and my brother had planned truck built by mid-March, maybe the beginning of April. That'd probably be a good time. Like I said, get a truck up, like right now is actually the time, like in the garage door business, to be kind of sharpening the saw. I see it in other businesses right now. This is always kind of the plateau. Sometimes you get a little bump with taxes. Some people have just been, it's a very small bump, because you'll get certain people that are going, more than likely they're going to fix their car or fix their roof before they fix a garage door. But you do get a few that'll get a bump. Maybe they want a little fence. They want a garage door opener, right? Something nice. So you get a little bump, and then it kind of, peters out a little bit again and then it's like spring comes, and all of a sudden, spring can be really deceiving, because you can have a really good spring and you're like, oh my gosh, we're so busy. Like, we got to buy another truck. We got to buy this. And then all of a sudden it'll kind of, it'll plateau out because it was just spring and people have hype. People are so emotional. It blows my mind. I see the stuff with the stock market every day, right? And it says, oh, Target had good earnings. The stock market went crazy. And I'm like, so the stock market went crazy because of one retail store? Because Target had one good earnings? And then it'll be like the next day, oh, Target fired a bunch of employees, so the stock market's rallying because now Target's, the value of the stock's going to be looking great. And I'm like, what? I feel like I'm drunk all the time. I'm like, what? This makes no sense. Like, this is like, what? And I know it's all emotional, but it's really, when I've, through other businesses, like, there's like that whole thing, like a Black Friday, retail, big holidays. It's funny to even see, just even in the garage door business, you'll watch how people all of a sudden, it's like, I need this fixed, I need this fixed, I need this fixed. Well, they're getting it fixed because now they got family members coming up to use the cottage. You know what I mean? And you're there and they're like, yeah, well, this thing broke 2 weeks ago. They'll tell you like little chunks like that. And you're like, what the, and you're like, you're calling me 2 days before the holiday weekend and you want this thing fixed? Boy, I hope you got some deep pockets. And so that's what I'm always saying. People are love to waste your time, and you got to swing sometimes, but you need to almost filter them out. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of understand and be like, I don't think we're going to be a good fit. And I always, like I said, these are my key indicators. Some people just start calling around, right? And they're like, when can you be here? I need somebody to come out. Like, when can you? And it's like, okay, I understand. I respect that, right? I understand you want this done super fast, right? And I want to get this done for you super fast. But you need to understand, I need some things from you, right? This is a relationship, right? This is husband, wife, this is whatever. Me and Fluffy, right? I throw the ball and you bring it back, right? Well, I need you to take some pictures somehow and get those. Like, I need to see some communication here. That's why when you first go out there, you might have a service call, you might do some stuff, you might try to get I'm trying to get the everything moving, right? I want to see the transaction, I want to see how you pay. Do you use credit card, do you use cash, use check? Your check bounced, you know what I mean? Your check bounced. And I got a door on order with you. You're not getting that door installed until you get this figured out. And by the way, your check bounced. You're gonna have to have full payment in cash when I show up. You know what I mean? These things all happen. And you know what they happen to me the most with is because I was in a rush. That's why you need to slow down. That's why I'm always the type that I always tell people, I go, when they come, they go, you busy? You busy? Are you super busy? I'm super busy. Busy? Are you busy? And I had a guy that did that. He did a fence business around here. He no longer does a fence business anymore. And I'd look at him, I'd tell him, I say, I'm not busy, I'm profitable. You know what I mean? There's a difference because I've done it. I've been busy, busy, busy. And at the end of the year, you did over $1 million in sales and you got $16,000 in your bank account. And you're going, holy crap, I got 7 trucks. They all need tires. They all want, 3 of them need to get replaced because they got 300,000 miles on them. So I'm not busy. I'm profitable because people don't care. They don't care what your kids wear. They don't care that you're not making no money. They don't care you can't buy shoes. You can't put food on the table. They don't care. They want their problem fixed. They want it done as fast and as cheap as possible. So that's why you just need to sometimes slow down and really look at this stuff. But yeah, if you can get a truck, like I said, March, April, anytime, really. I mean, it's a matter of just getting out there. If it was me, honestly, I tell my nephew this all the I would start advertising now because you're going to start figuring out an algorithm in your area, what clicks, what doesn't click. And the worst thing you do is you tell them, I am so sorry. We are super busy right now. I don't have anybody available. We're 3 weeks out. We're a month out right now with work. And you'd be amazed at what you'll even learn just by talking to the customer. Maybe you realize you don't like using your personal phone, right? Because your voicemail's not set up right. Maybe you're realizing, I put stuff out on Facebook and I'm not even getting nothing. You know what I mean? Maybe you get one person, right? And you can tell by the person, they could really care less. Maybe you look up, you do a little Google search, the area. They live in a maybe not so nice area, let's say. You take a car out there, say, hey, I can take a look at it for you, right? And you drive out there with whatever. Even if it's a truck that's not, you got a few power tools, fuel hand tools. Like I said, I watched this one guy down in Arizona. He had a little pouch like this. I keep a lot of my camera gear in here. His pouch was actually smaller than this. And he installed a garage door. I'm like, dude, what's up with this guy? He's amazing. And he had a truck, don't get me, had an inverter on it, so he had power and stuff, which he only needs that for new installs. But he had just one power drill, a few wrenches, I think a winding bar, a couple winding bars. I mean, I'm like, is that all you got? Like, I got a bucket, man, that's full of wrenches. It's got clamps. It's got all kinds of goodies in it. This guy just shows up with a little bag, and he's like, what you got? And so, and like I said, especially if you got speed on your side right now, you can go out there, you could take a look, and you just say, hey, unfortunately, I can't help you out in this situation. And I'd recommend these guys, right? But every time you're doing something, you're learning, right? You're learning the algorithm, you're learning how the customer reacts to you. You're learning that Facebook's not working worth a crap. Don't get all crazy with putting money into this stuff. Google, whatever. Man, maybe yard signs are working. Maybe you're putting some flyers out. Maybe you're doing somebody we were talking about the one day doing those mats, doing the mats for in front of restaurants. It's amazing to me, and I'm telling you this from my bottom of my heart. It is super hard when you start out to get customers. It's super hard, and the economy is not good right now. This is we're going through what I went through in '06. I started in May of '06, 2006. The economy was booming, booming. I mean, you walk in with a T-shirt somewhere, right? A Home Depot, whatever it was, Lowe's, and I mean, people were like, you were like Elvis. People were just grabbing you. Oh my gosh, can I get a business card? Please, just give me a business card. Give me a business card. And then '07, '08 hit. Especially on the residential. A big builder in our area had brand new trucks, multi houses being built, bankruptcy. Pooh. Couple garage door companies I knew about, belly up. They were in big with the builders. They didn't get paid. There's just so much, and right now we are not. I guarantee we are not in a good market. It's not undoable, but you need to start out. You gotta go in there with expecting that. Like right now, if I was to say I'm gonna start a garage door business, what do I realistically expect? If I got one job a week, I'd be probably pretty happy with this market right now. Might just be a call, might be a simple service call, because the thing is, there's so many avenues right now for people to go, right? Like the only thing we had back in the day was a phone book, maybe some you could do mail stuff, right? But the problem is that all this stuff takes a lot of time, right? You want to do mail out deliveries, what am I saying? The post office crap, whatever, they send them out in the mail. It takes a lot of time to set it up, because now you got to deal with somebody that's going to deal with the artwork, right? That costs money. Maybe you got to do a certain area that costs money. When do you want them sent out? I don't know. All these things add up. And so it takes so much to start getting that. Now, if you could get clicked in with a certain couple peoples, like I know some of the guys on here recommend, the lumber yards, doesn't hurt, right? But you got to remember, a lot of people have every one of you watching right now has a certain flavor ice cream that you like. You know what I mean? And it's not the same as mine, probably. You know what I mean? Butter pecan. Anyways, so you got to remember that these people get set and ingrained, and it's hard until somebody else starts failing for them to kind of open up that door and go, all right, I'm going to give you a chance, right? And then it's like the first impression. Now, don't get too excited where you think, oh my gosh, if I don't have the suit, I don't have this, I don't have, the right vehicle, a brand new vehicle. That's not so. Are you showing up? Do you got the heart of a lion? Are you trustworthy? Are you trying? You're not stealing from my customer. You're not stealing off my job site. You got the job done. I called you a couple days later. Something's not right. You come back at a very prompt, instead of going, well, I'm already doing a couple more jobs, and since you're not paying me no money, I'll be there in 2 weeks. No, that ain't gonna fly. So you know what I mean? There's just all these things you got to think about. Where did I leave off? Planet says, what's Mr. Jeff got? Many users for metal coat hangers. They work as slim jims, pilot lighters, and throttle cables. I don't know what that's. Let's see. It says, well, with the boom at Ohio, I see the market doing really well. And it might seem like it. This is the stuff I just want people to be cautious about, is because the stock market looks really good too right now, doesn't it? Everybody, oh my gosh, stock market. But all this, if you went through the '06, '07, '08, you can see how fast the stuff, and it seems like it, right? And you might get lucky, right? Your area might be different than my area, but like I said, from a lot of my friends I'm talking to across, they're not seeing super. And the thing is that you don't realize too is when you get into the garage door business, it's kind of like doing sales. you can only do so much. You can only hang so many doors in a day. You know what I mean? So, and sometimes, like when I started out, I had a business partner, and that was kind of a double edged sword. I learned some stuff, um, but it's not that you shouldn't go out and try. It's just like, oh, we're gonna, you can get so loaded up on money wise. Oh, I got to get a different truck. Oh, I got to get all these tools right, and you almost kind of shoot yourself before you even get your foot wet. Um, so it's to me, it's like I'd rather you do something small and start realizing the customer base you're dealing with, because then you might realize, hey, this isn't even something I really want to do. Because, for instance, my one buddy, right? He averages well over $10,000 profit on a roofing job. We might average, maybe 100, 200 bucks, depending on what the job is. So you got to understand what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And it's not that it's bad. It's just that if I was to look at it again, I always tell people I would do something with doors. I really think that's kind of the way, you know, I do vending. I would do um, anything, anything that's got, it would be more or less, like I like the real estate, I like the rentals, um, because you will learn that typically on this side, I don't know what the word is. I've been looking for, I've been searching. And I talked to a guy on the phone not too long ago, and he agreed with me. He says, we're when you're the end user like we are, we're the installers, there is a lot of blowback. You have a lot of variables that are working against you. My truck doesn't start today. Oh crap. What do I do? You know what I mean? Oh man, we left a battery charger somewhere. You know what I mean? Well, there's $200 with a nice battery and that. You show up, the door's dented, the door's damaged, the door's not the right color. Crap, whose fault is that? You know what I mean? Did you figure all that out? Do you have that in a contract? Did you, stay up late and make sure that's all right? So there's a lot of things where it's not as easy as what some people really just think. Well, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna make 50 bucks, I'm gonna make 200 bucks, I'm gonna, are you gonna provide the light bulbs that I always talk about, like with garage door openers? I know some people give me black. I just had a guy, what's his name? He's a long time subscriber, but he goes, I thought the homeowner, I think he's joking, right? He goes, I think the homeowner supplies the light bulbs for the garage door openers. I agree. That's what I thought too. Until they come out and they go, here, I got one. It's not on my lamp that's been in my bedroom for 20 years, but here. And they give you a light bulb, right? And then they call you 2 weeks later and they go, that garage door opener you installed? And you're like, yes. And they go, well, I think it's not working. And you're like, what's not working? Well, the light bulb's not working. And you're like, are you serious? You handed me the light bulb that you told me was out of your 20-year-old lamp. Yeah. Are you Well, I can't get up on that ladder. Now what do you do? What do you do? Do you be a jerk? Do you not go back out there? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, and like I said, my opinion, I thought the economy was going to crash a little sooner. I ain't gonna lie, but I think we're being propped up right now. And like I said, all it takes is one thing that neither you nor me can control, is that media, is that TV, is these cell phones. And all it takes is market's doing bad, this is doing bad, and you're going to see stuff just wash right out. People are going to lock up. People are going to not spend, right? All it takes is for them to start hearing, your 401k is going down, your house value is going down. Interest rates obviously are up right now. So that's not helping people spend too. So just some stuff I like to bring to light. Like I said, it's not to be scary or to, not do nothing. That's not it. That's not it. There's always opportunity. I mean, there's somebody advertising that they clean up dog crap around here. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad deal if I had a dog, because I don't like cleaning up crap. And they could probably do it cheaper than what I can, because that's a bottleneck. So I should hire them. That's not, and I'm picking up dog crap. You know what I mean? It's just how you're going to get in front of them. You know what I mean? You're going to walk around, these builders, I thought the builders were always a big thing. Those builders get locked in with a certain people, we still don't even have a lot of builders. I'm talking residential builders. We got a lot of commercial ones, but not residential. So I think Biden, I think Biden was a garage door tech in high school. Oh man, at least he was. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't, like I said, flat Earth, DJ. It could be because I never walked it. Have you? There's so many things that we don't know. I was told once that um, I was told once that on a map or a globe, right? We've all seen the globe in school, maybe some of you have at home. They actually make the United States look bigger. I'm gonna get whacked. There's gonna be like black suits that are walking here and chop my head off. But anyways, they make the United States look bigger on the globe than other countries because it makes us look more powerful. That could be true. I don't know. Did you ever measure out the United States of America? Because I sure haven't. Did you ever measure out Russia? China? I haven't. So I don't know. I don't know. It could be true. You know what I mean? But these are things you got to think about. That's why sometimes you just got to leave that stuff out there. This is very funny. He would have walked off his extension ladder. What's up, Mr. Rich? Mr. Rich didn't give me a cheers. I'm a little off today because I'm at the shop. I don't have my normal cup. Let's see here. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Dan says it's called Easy Junk. I'm ordering you torsion. Yes, it is. If you order those easy sets from Menards or from Lowe's, not Lowe's so much. I don't know what Lowe's is using now. Should look into that. I was just in there. But the Clopay ones from Home Depot, those things, they always make a horrible noise. The plastic and the noise is you don't want you just don't want to deal with them. The governor's share. I was told growing up, how do you eat an elephant? What? Hey, that's Chad. That's great advice. That's super great advice. How do you eat an elephant, man? I tell you what. I tell my kids. I tell my employees. I tell everyone that. I always tell them. I say, "How do you eat an elephant?" Because they'll look at me and they go, "Dude, I don't know how we're gonna get this." And I'm like, one bite at a time, one foot in front of the other. You know what I mean? And we might take two steps back, but we're gonna keep moving forward. You know, it just, like I said, I see so many people. It's right here. You know, you're probably better looking than me. You're probably stronger than me, but it's right here, right? And I don't have to be smarter or not smarter, but I don't have to be stronger, maybe better looking, but it's right here. If I can control this, control your mind. That's the biggest thing. People don't, they don't get, they're so scared to make those moves, to walk up to somebody, to hand that business card, to say hello. You know, I always look at it, I go, if it doesn't kill you, you got nothing to fear. You know what I mean? Because it's all, you know, unless it's like health or something like that, it's all you can fix it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's kind of like with the one guy saying the vehicle that sucks. I'd been there. It sucks. It sucks getting a vehicle smashed up. I know it. It's so hard, and I can tell you, it's like when you get older. Typically, it still sucks, but it's like you're so happy somebody didn't get hurt, somebody didn't get killed. You don't want it to happen again. It's amazing where you just kind of go. We just had one get dented up, and I'm sitting there in my head going, "Hey, at least the guy wasn't on the road. He ran into something in their shop, and I'm like, at least he was on the road. At least somebody didn't get hurt. You know, it's a dent. It sucks. Yeah, you know, but he's a good dude. He's, you know, it's an accident. Stuff happens. I mean, I've had my own fair share of smashing up stuff. You know, you just hope that it's a wake up call and you be a little better through the day. You guys are so cute. Oh, and I know you. Are you watching me? Are you watching me on the cameras? Through the touch me through the fence. Oh my god. This one was held for review. Oh, somebody's being naughty. Let's see, Chad. What do you think about QuickBooks, or would a regular spreadsheet? Oh man, that's a good question. Dang, man, that's a good question. Oh, it's tough. I'm struggling with this in my other businesses. I kind of feel like one of those flip ones. I used to use them as a kid when my mom cleaned a beauty salon when I used to work with her when I was a little kid. Thanks, Mom. And anyways, I always wrote out thank you, and I always copy it because I know how to spell it. So I always flip to the next page and copy it to carbon. You can get away with something like that. Oh, I think I've shared it before. Let me see if I got one. One of our, right here. These are kind of like what we did, and you could even, I'm sure you could generate something like this. And, you know, I used to have a place that made them for us. And if you guys don't mind, hit the thumbs up. Just click it once. But anyways, so what I liked about it is I went through this, and this is what I always talk about, how you learn as you go. So I would always be modifying this and modifying this. And this is what we start out with. And this worked really good. It kept everybody on track, and that's why you can see I got the clipboards really don't get used anymore. They just kind of get random stuff put on them now that's just left over. But this used to be my Monday. This used to be my Monday through, I don't remember if I had Monday through Sunday type deal. Somewhere like some extra for some brochures. But I literally had it where the guys would come in on a Monday or whatever, and you know, boom, there's and what I do is I color code it. The thing with QuickBooks is it will make things very useful, but I doubt that you have the business yet to really. You should be able to take most of it and kind of document it yourself. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, you got a sole attorney, blah, blah, right? But anyways, so like for one, like on here, like I had these a work order? You know, was it commercial? Was it an estimate? Residential? I had signed like, you know, so we knew we were kind of getting identified. I do the labor, what was going to be done. And I always had our time in, time out. I had quite a few of these because I either maybe got this from somebody, but I would actually, if we were at a job multiple times, and plus I always did this, document your time, because you'll learn from this stuff if you need to, right? You'll see it. But so like for us personally, not to get too long-winded, but I'm pretty proud of this for over the years because this was my baby. And I had credit cards, and then I'd always put on your cash, you know, how they paid. You could do a discount, blah, blah, blah. But, so like for us, we use QuickBooks and we also use Jobber. I can't remember off the top of my head. We used another CRM that was horrible. Now, what I want to tell you guys is don't get with a CRM, a customer relations service or whatever it's called, CRM. It's QuickBooks is kind of it, but not. Don't get with one that makes you pay up front. We had one that we paid a lot of money, and we found out we absolutely hated it. And I pulled the trigger. At the time, I said, we're not using it anymore. And we still owed them money, and we still paid them. But then we went over to Jobber, and Jobber, you know, you can do it by the month. You can do it by, I think, half the year. You can do it. They probably give you a little bit of discount. You do it for a year, whatever. But at the time, I didn't care. I already got burned out of thousands of dollars. And I said, you know, we're not doing this. And I said, because it was just so primitive. It was like using Microsoft DOS or something versus Google. So Jobber was way better. But what I want you to do is I want you to get the money flowing first, you know what I mean? And then start worrying about that stuff a little bit more, right? Because I'm telling you, the hardest thing is to get that phone to ring. And these are printed copies. I can print a lot of these puppies really cheap. I had a printing place that would make these. So we had 3 copies. We had one for ourselves, one for the customer, and then one for like whatever, the office or something. So you can get those made if you want. But these took me a long ways. I'd probably still do these again. I don't think I would get into something that's going to cost me, because you might not have the manpower, because you're going to realize real quick, if you start getting that phone to ring, you start getting customers, you're going to be like, I need a freaking secretary, you know, because all this stuff. And with maybe not getting a secretary at the time or something, you might be able to start jumping into like QuickBooks or Jobber. So like we use both, because one does like our payroll and stuff like that. And then like the other one's basically for information, pictures. Um, but like I said, the money's first. Start getting that phone to ring. Start getting people to recognize you. Um, all those kind of things. Do 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 do. What's Tristan got? Have you ever overcharged someone because they knew you could, or is it same price for everyone no matter what? Does a price increase during the holidays? So that's a great question. No, we finally at one point we used to be across the board. Like a price was like back when I started, it was like $65 for residential, $65 for commercial. What we started realizing with commercial is that commercial takes a little bit longer sometimes to get into, right? You got to sign in, you got to drive around the building, you might have to do a little safety or do a little prep, like they might have to have a little job interview, what you're going to do. So we started charging more because commercial also doesn't really care. But no, we always for residential was pretty much across the board. I did have a lady, just to tell you a little story. I stuck with my guns, right? She lived on the lake. And I thought, no, we came out here and I think we fixed something with photo eye, but this kind of comes back to that whole preventative maintenance thing, right? And what it was is we ended up, I charged her a full price, $65 or $75 a time for a service call. And this lady kind of came unglued, right? So it just kind of shows you people that live on the lake, that got money, right? They could still be pretty stingy with their money, right? Because that's why people always say, well, that's how they got there to be on the lake, because they saved their money or screw other people, right? I'm not, whatever, take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, I charged her the full price. She's like, because we live on the lake, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that's just what we charge for a service call. Like, this is what we need for our overhead, for two guys, for this vehicle, gas. And it was funny because not too long later, right, I think it was in the same day, she calls us back and she's still having a problem. So we go back out there, right? And we don't charge her because we don't need to, because we made enough money that we have to come back. But that was kind of the point, right? Like that's why we do this, so we can honor this. It's like an insurance policy. So she didn't really say too much after that, but it's keep it across because they can kind of get sketchy. But yes, on another point, I should make this up. Yes, we do charge extra if it's after hours or weekends or yes, a holiday. But typically we consider that like an emergency call. So our emergency call is just, whatever it is, another $40 or $60. It can be whatever you think it needs to be. And so we do charge actually for those, but across the board with customers, we don't it just depends on the job. It depends on what they're getting, what they're ordering. It depends on almost like kind of how hungry you are. Like if you ain't got no work, man, go out there and make $100. I mean, you got nothing. The phone's not ringing. You got nothing for the whole year. Sure, go out there for the week and make $100. It's better than zero. Just remember you gotta take care of it though and stuff. So just don't be a stinge when they call you back with something. Price stays the same regardless till product and running price goes up. That's right. Mr. Dan's got it. Advertising really worked well, but word of mouth is best. Yeah, I agree. Word of mouth is really good. It does help a lot. What says with advertising, with thinking Nextdoor and Facebook, I really haven't thought about starting advertising yet. I have the tools to do service calls. I just want to be sure I'm ready. Good. Yeah, I mean, so Chad, I really appreciate asking these questions. They're great questions. They really are. And like I said, just take nuggets off me. You know what I mean? Don't take everything I say to, this is how you got to do it, because it's not that way. But the biggest thing is like my brother-in-law. He's a really go-getter. He put a lot of money in Facebook. He was telling me it was $75 per customer right now for him to get every customer he deals with, $75. That's not even making a close. That's just to get, he said, but he found out, right? These are the things you learn, the algorithms. He said, but I found out if people message me, it's like they're lazy as crap. I don't want to say other words, but that would be nice. And so he says they're lazy, but he says they pick up the phone. They typically turn into a customer that I close the sale on. So that, but you got to remember, like I said, can you imagine $75 per customer just to kind of get it to generate? And the guy he's working with wants more. And I heard this through another business owner that's doing, he's at $1,500 right now a month. And he's saying that the guy wants now like $2,000 to make it, the math isn't making no sense. He's what he's trying to say. So even my brother-in-law has made it where he's like, I'm kind of going old school. So that's why sometimes I talk about the yard signs. Your truck can just have a magnet on it. If you put up some banners around the places, sometimes old school isn't always bad, because I'm telling you what, I know it from being on there, from trying to sell. Like, something goes on with Facebook. It's like the retards of the retards. I mean, I'm not saying all of it, because obviously we're all on it and we're not all retards, but it's just like, I don't know where these people come from. I don't know if they're robots, if they're AI. They'll send you the weirdest stuff. And it's like, are you like, what? Like, I mean, are you dumb? Like, do you eat acid in the morning? Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? This doesn't even make sense. So I've even tried Nextdoor, and Nextdoor was like really weird. So that's why I'm telling you, like, you might want to start sooner and just start testing it. Like, get signed up. Because, like, when I did Nextdoor, it was horrible. It was like very primitive. It was like, you want to spend this kind of money? And I got zero. I was better off doing the free advertising, where you make, like, if you have a personal account and you just kind of say, hey, I'm just letting people know I'm in your area. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That worked better than what I paid. I couldn't even get nothing. At least when I did the personal one, it was like I got people at least to interact and say, oh, this is cool, or thumbs up or hearts or whatever it was. So there's algorithms to all this stuff. And so it's not a one, like I personally believe, especially with garage doors, like Google's probably some of the best for residential, because you always have to remember, in garage doors, you're a fire extinguisher, and you're not important until there's a fire, right? So when that spring breaks, oh crap, my garage door opener quit working. Oh honey, let me look up somebody, blah, blah. So try to get those references from those customers. You know what I mean? Try to get the reviews organically. Even though you can pay for this stuff, it'll run you dry. I mean, it's amazing. So that's why I don't want you to get all this stuff ready too, in a nutshell. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want you to pay all this money, got this truck ready, and it's costing you or whatever. And then now it's like, you also like, man, the phone's not ringing. What the heck? Crap. I got all this money. Like, I got to go get 2 more jobs now. Because that's kind of what I did. You know what I mean? You kind of jump in, and it's, like I said, the economy could blow out right now. It really could. You got to remember, we're in like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 WARs right now. I mean, we're not seeing it pumped right now. So, I mean, if this stuff fruitions, gets worse, supply chains, all I got to do is come on, like the Clinton News Network, the CNN. Let's see. But yeah, there's a certain degree you got to be ready. I don't know why this just came to my mind. I think I thought about this at one time. This is not the right thing to do, but I was always thinking about like slipping a business card. Because how many owners, right? How many homeowners go out there? I've had this happen too. How many homeowners go out there and buy a garage door opener, and they're like, crap, I ain't gonna do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I ain't got time for this. And what if you slipped a business card in the box? Because typically they're stapled, at the store. And I know you're playing with fire. You get caught. That's illegal. Don't do that. But it's just something that crossed my mind, because I see people always walking out with them. I always wanted to walk up and be like, hey, you need somebody to install that? I'm your man. Because I've had people do it where they'll, like they see my truck and they come up to me and ask me a bunch of questions, like, hey, this garage door opener quit working. I'm like, yeah, they're junk. And they're like, oh, that's what they said inside. That's why they quit selling them. I'm like, no, like they quit selling them because basically they're smart. And that way when you come back and go, hey, this thing quit working, it's only 5 years old, they go, oh, we're sorry. We don't sell that anymore. We got Mastercraft or whatever now. Health review. So what's NITO? NITO? The further countries are larger. They look in the map because of, what is it called? Circumstances? Could be, man. Could be. Like I said, I'm not saying right or wrong, but I'm just saying if I still don't know if the Earth is flat. It could be. I don't know. I mean, I guess God only knows, right? I mean, I haven't walked it. I haven't walked across all the things and all. It's kind of like I was listening to a guy. It was a buddy or something. I can't remember. But he says, "Do you ever notice?" I think it was my nephew actually. He's a smart dude. And I mean, hell, he's only like 18, 19. But anyways, he was saying, you ever notice how the rockets go off? It's because they can never leave. Like a lot of people think I'm one that I don't know. I don't think we went to the moon. I'm just saying. I hope we did, but I don't know if we did because I wasn't there and I didn't touch it. And there's a lot of acting. And Hollywood's kind of integrated with a lot of stuff. So I don't know because I wasn't there. So, you know, they told us to wear a diaper too, but they can't cure male baldness, and they can't cure the C that's in a lot of people. Just saying, just saying. So we have to. Hey, Mr. Rich, cheers. Circumference. Circumference is what he's trying to say. That's true. Like I said, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just here to open up your mind. That's all. That's all. And you guys do the same for me. I sit here, I read the comments, I get the emails, and I look at things, and it gets my brain working in the business. Just like with Chad asking these great questions about business that I wouldn't even think of, that are great questions. And I just try to help give my feedback of what I've seen or had happen in the business, and what I predict I think is going to be coming, which I hope I'm absolutely wrong. I hope the market goes crazy. I hope, they'll do an interest rate cut and the market will just go crazy and houses will be selling, and it'll just be happy days all over again. But if they cut the interest rates, we have to remember that inflation is still here. And that's the problem. We didn't have the inflation like we did back in the '08, '07, '08. So inflation is not good. I mean, I'm telling you, look, they made $15 finally, right? That's not even nothing nowadays, right? $15 minimum wage, right? That's all they kept preaching. And I tell you what, my burger joint, right? The old Mickey D's, my service ain't no better. No better. It's gotten worse. It's worse. It's like every time I walk up or I drive up to the drive-thru, I'm always like, oh, I made a horrible mistake. I'm just going to leave. I don't know why I'm here. Like, this was really stupid of me. I'm just going to go back home and be a good boy and make my own sandwich, my own food. It's cheaper. It's probably better. I'm not eating those I'm not eating those Bill Gates French fries. Like, oh man. Oh man. What's up, Grizzy? What's up, man? Hope all is well. Everything is well. We're very lucky here in Michigan right now. We got some really nice weather. Hope a lot of you got nicer weather. Winter's been really light, which I know is not good for the snowmobilers. I know they predicted it kind of. There was a cabin. They said this winter was going to be a little off, so they closed down for the seasonal winter snowmobilers and that. So I'm sure business ain't good for them. We just have to, hope and pray for them. They can survive without the income. But no, it's been great. Like I said, I'm so happy. Things are, sometimes there's all the negative, but there's still a lot of positive. You know what I mean? And so we're lucky. I tell the kids every night, I say, look, I said, you ain't got bombs, you ain't got explosions, you're not living on dirt floors. Life is pretty good, What's up? Is it Haley? Hi, Haley. Waves. I see a wave from Emma. Hi, Emma. Chad, I bought sales order slips from Staples. Perfect. Perfect. Those work great. I think those are just your go-to. They're cheap. They get the job done. And long as you, on those sales slips, if there's stuff that you want to alter, start altering it a little bit. And then you can always find a print place, which is not a bad idea, especially when you're starting out. Somebody can make your signs for you, the magnets. You can do this stuff online, but it's just sometimes it's convenient to walk in and build a relationship with somebody. And and sometimes maybe they'll promote you a little bit. Other people walk in and go, yeah, something happened or this or that. They see something being printed or your signs are sitting there being ready. Who's that guy? Those can be nice. They make your business cards, especially when you're starting out. Like for me, I never had the logo and stuff really down. And so they just help promote me a little bit versus sitting on a computer and it's just pretty brain dead. But don't get me wrong, it's nice to sit in your skivvies and, click the stuff that you're doing and, get your stuff sent to you, which is it's nice. It's convenient. Depends on where you're at. If you don't have those resources, my guy actually quit doing it, so I had to find another place. But majority now, I just do it all online. It's pretty because now that we're like so big with QuickBooks and with Jobber, there's really not a whole lot. And plus, we have a huge customer base. But stickers, that's one. I think they still make our stickers, so we got stickers. Don't forget with your stickers. I don't think we got any sitting here. Don't forget to get them. These are the ones I started out with. I go bigger though. These are kind of our outside ones. But these are all the little things you got to figure out. You got to feel out how the texture is, how they stick, how they hold up. Stickers are really important. But for us, we had the Muskegon, we got Grand Rapids, we had the Door Boys. Get your website figured out. That's always a pain in the butt. Whatever you got for a little logo or something on there. We had like same day we did commercial, we do same day service, install, repair. But what I wanted to say is I get the bigger ones. I don't have them right here, but we actually have it. So we have install date and what was done. So those work good because for one, they cover up other people's stickers. For two, it gives us some intel when we go there to explain to the customer and they go, you were just here last week or 2 months ago, installed this. And you look and go, ma'am, come here. You see this right? Yeah, this right here says we installed this like 5 years ago. So this isn't covered anymore. Okay. Oh, wow. I thought it was like only, 3 weeks ago. No, 5 years ago. And the technician that did it, he was a good guy or whatever, That's right. Chad, time is money, man. Time is money. You only got so much time on this earth. That's the big thing. Oh, look at this one. Jesus, God, love you so much. You are amazing. Don't let anyone tell you different. Appreciate that. That's right. I use House Call Pro and love it. I never dealt with House Call Pro. I don't know if it's I don't know. I don't know. I have to look into it. I don't know anything about House Call Pro. Like I said, it was just Jobber clicked. The one thing that worked too, that's nice for some of these guys, what you got to think about a little bit, which I didn't. Like QuickBooks, I don't know if QuickBooks even does this anymore, but it was like you could buy their desktop version. That was horrible because you whatever you do, the way I look at it is you want to be able to access it from anywhere. You want to go to a hotel room. I want to be able to go on their computer in their lobby and be able to access my information. That's how I want it to be. I want it to be so secretaries, I want it to be so workers, everything needs to be accessible, not just one computer. The old phone doesn't like me. It says it's running out of juice. I'm going to have to plug her in. They want some money. I have looked, and I haven't looked into Jobber. Like I said, we didn't do a whole bunch. I mean, like, honestly, like Service Titan, that looks like the cat's meow, but it's too expensive. That's our problem. It's just too expensive. They want too much money. They wouldn't let us do a free demo. Jobber, the big thing with a lot of these places, what you have to realize is you need excellent customer service. Excellent. When you call them, they answer. When you got a problem, they take care of it. That's what you're looking for. So don't be afraid to ever call their, find these numbers that they got, for customer service or whatever. And that's the thing is with Jobber, and what I've always loved about Jobber is they're like always integrating. So it's getting better and better and better. And I like the fact that it wasn't no month or not month, but it was a monthly charge, no contract. I don't like that contract crap. Keep that out of there. Because to me, that just tells me your product isn't worthy. You know what I mean? I should fall in love with it. And once we started using them, we fell in love. The pictures, we can clock in, clock out, time. They were a game changer for us. They worked great. I'm sure there's other ones out there that work. Like I said, I'd love to use Service Titan, but it's too expensive for our business. It's just too expensive. Can't do it. Says hello. Tristan, hello, thank you. Says Hunter, stay cool this week, Dave. That's right. Mr. Dan, I hope you have a good one. I know it's getting past our bedtime. The gray hairs. We're salty. I took a nap in the parking lot outside my work and woke up with goop in my what? I oh, that's great. Where's Rick? Rick, you're the admin. You're supposed to be taking care of this. Let's see. I thought about that too, but not in the box, but on the shelf. I thought about that, but not in the box, but in on the shelf. Yeah, so like I said, if you're talking about, I don't know if you're talking about the clipboards, they just worked for our small business at the time when we were developing. Especially when if you get employees was the big thing. I'd already have all their work laid out, and then I could have their jobs. It also helped me a lot too, just for for customers. And I knew, okay, this days were coming in, this door is coming in. I'm gonna schedule this customer. Just I like visual and I like colors. So I had guys that were colored. Some guys were blue. One guy be blue, one guy be red. Myself, I think I was blue actually. Or I was green. So, what's up with some of these people? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, they come out of it's the AI stuff, right? He said the flat Earth. I'm out. Oh, that's funny. That's right. I don't think if I say flat Earth, he can't. His mind is not very open. And with an entrepreneur, your mind has to be extremely open because we have all kinds of stuff coming at us every day, with employees, with problems, with government, taxes, you name it, man. You always got to be open minded and go, And the big one always is typically follow the money. That's what's going on. Just last week, a 30-year-old flat Earth named Mike was a mission after he set out to sail a straight line across the globe. Hey, like I said, still must not know. Hi, I'm new. Can I please shout out? Sure, Lavu. I can't say it very good. LUV, Lavu. But the shipping too much. I have a few places around. That's good. I got some good friends that always helped us out. If we had something, especially somebody with a forklift, that's helped out a lot. But I was just reporting that early. I don't know who Kate. Oh, Kate Middleton. I think I know who Kate Middleton is. That's a shame if that's true. That's sad, man. I know Toby Keith went, man. Mr. Red Solo Cup. Full moon tonight. Ha ha! Rich has got it, man. Full moon. It's all right because there's different algorithm stuff. What I've noticed is I was talking to somebody and I said, I've noticed that if I leave the phone vertical, there's more people that funnel in than if it's sideways. Who would have thought? What's it matter, right? I don't know. That's right. He says, I like Putin. I like Putin too. I think Putin's got his crap. I think he does bad stuff, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I don't know any of these people. That's the problem. I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't shake their hands. I know they pull their pants up the same way we do. You said something, a business card. So a business card. Let's just see what else is on here. Yeah, the big thing is like, I don't think I got, you always want a business card. Business cards always seem kind of outdated and stuff, but I did this one thing and never really took off. But if you thank you for your business, for each customer you refer to us, we'll send you a $10 new customer. We'll receive a $5 discount. So we did a little thing in the back where they fill it out, and they basically get a discount. You can do anything you want. it always helped with the name. I was never good with a lot of the employees, but this always helped the name because a lot of people forget. I'm one of them that forget who they talk to, and if that way they call you. I probably would have left this more blank in a sense nowadays. I put my personal phone number on here, so that way they can get direct hold of you because you're basically a salesman. Otherwise, sometimes they call the office, they get a little confusion. So, like we did the 24-hour emergency service. We had the same thing, same day. Oh, this is, it was our old fax on it. That's how old these cards are. But the big thing is just so they get something. But business cards are important. They really are. I still to this day get people that always, you got a business card? Because otherwise, how do they, and the thing is, what I never thought about with business cards is you think, you go, well, everybody's got a cell phone. I'll just tell them my number, right? They go to punch that number in, they might put it in wrong. It happens. I've had it happen. You know what I mean? So you got to think about these things. So, but if you give them that card you verified is correct, they got more chances. Even if you put your phone number wrong in the back, you maybe mark it or something, whatever. They still call the office. They know the location. They look at the stuff. If you don't want, you don't have to always put your address. It's just more or less they got a phone number, how to contact you. You can put, hey, call or text. Here's my email. The email is always a big one because sometimes they need to send you something if you get to certain people. So it's birthday. Happy birthday. Whatever. This stuff is getting crazy. Like I said, I'll probably jump off here soon. That's right, man. In the operator boxes. Oh, that's right, Rich. I'm glad you brought that up. So what I was saying is, like I said, you probably get in trouble, right? But everybody knows who Kim Kardashian is, right? Maybe you like her, you don't like her, but you know who she is. So, but I'm saying if you stuck a business card, like you were in there looking around, like, oh, I'm just trying to see which ones, and you were to slip some business cards in those, so when they opened up the opener box from the retail store and they're like, oh, there's somebody's business, you might get one. You might not get none. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is it might just be somebody go, oh, it's a business card. Hey, I seen you. For some reason, I got your business card in here. I didn't know because people are kind of confused. Then they'd be like, do you install these? And you'd be like, yeah, I do install them. And so it was just something that I just thought about, like I said before, even if you put them in the parking lot, there's all kinds of things you can do, right? You can leave them at the contractor's desk. All it takes is one or two people to start hitting. And, it's amazing how fast, especially if you're a one or two guy band, chucking a truck type thing, it can hit real fast. And all of a sudden you're going, oh my gosh, I'm super busy. What am I going to do? So I think I'm going to jump off here. Like I said, I got to go see if somebody passed away, I guess. I don't know, this one girl. And hopefully not. But anywho, let me see if... Plus, I got to go night-night. Let me take a screenshot of this puppy. Plus, my phone's about ready to die. But I appreciate all you guys being here in chat. I really appreciate the questions. And don't be afraid if you have any more businesses. I love people that email me on this stuff. That's right. Thanks for your time, boss. Appreciate it, Tristan. And like I said, any of you guys, I love the emails. Sometimes I don't reply back. Sometimes I make a video. Sometimes I come in here and I kind of glance. So don't be offended if I don't reply back. Sometimes it takes me a couple days. Sometimes I miss. I got a couple from Paul, I think I missed. He shot so many. He shot like 3 or 4 at the same time. So it's kind of like I was on the road type thing, looking at him. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And I just didn't get time to reply back. So if it's important or something, don't be afraid after 2 or 3 days, if you think it's top priority, you need help, just to say, hey man, I'm reaching out to you for a second time. Can you help me out? Because I'm definitely here. I'm here for you guys, and I love the emails. And so just shoot me an email. Some of you got my phone number. You can always shoot me a text. Like I said, I never answer my phone. It's always on silent, so I never hear it. But a text is always about the best. And all right, we're getting out of here. This is getting crazy. All right, we'll see you guys. Love you. Dave A. Dubson@gmail.com. Most other videos have it. Look me up. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Chad, Hope to speak to you again. Hope things work out good. Get that truck going. Get that advertising going. Get that phone ringing first, man. Make that money. See ya.